DU has been showing us what we can do, and it's that can-do spirit that I believe in.
Take it.
Don't forget, Ducks Unlimited.
Hello, and welcome again to Ducks Unlimited Television. Wade Bourne is more than one of the most recognized outdoor writers and personalities in America. He's like family to millions of sportsmen. In this episode, we caught up with Wade in a Missouri Boot Hill rice field where he hunted with his brother Joe, retriever trainer Mike Stewart, Deke the DU duck dog, and Rance Daniels, a local rice producer and conservationist. Family, friends, superb dog work, greenheads, and more. All next on DU TV.
We are in the Boot Hill of Missouri, just a few miles east of Kennett off Highway 412. This is a rice growing area. I've hunted over here for about 3 years, and so far so good. Mike Stewart and I are old friends. Now, I haven't hunted with him in several years, but we have hunted together a number of times in the past 15 or 20 years, and I always enjoy being with him. Mike has got a nice, dry sense of humor. He's a real wit, and I enjoy watching him work with his dogs. I call him the dog whisperer.
Our first day in the duck blind with Wade was a real treat. It was great to get in the blind with he and his brother, his own place, right over his decoy spread. This guy knows how to lay out a decoy spread, and he can call. They're really good calls, and they're fairly good shots as well.
There's a greenhead. That's a mallard drake right there in the front. Right in front, coming around, coming from Mike's end. Shoot him. There we go. We've been so frustrated, we finally got a hen and a drake to come through, and they were in range, and we got the drake out. So just keep picking away at them. You know, weather changes can play a big role in how the ducks respond to your call and how they fly, and whether or not you can pull them into the decoys. We started the season here with very good results, and the weather was good. As luck will have it sometimes, the weather changed for the better. Some people would think for the worse for duck hunters. It got warmer, stiller. We had an overcast sky, and if you're a waterfowler, you know that those are not good conditions to work birds. Shoot 'em.
Get on.
I don't know how many times we would have a 25 or 40 mallards pitch out, sail down, cup their wings, make a circle, we'd grab our guns, get ready to shoot, and then they'd hit that, I call it the go, no-go line, about 60 yards out, and they would just slide off. And here we go, calling again. Work them back around, looking good, looking good, looking good, 60 yards, and slide off again. And if you don't get them on that second or third pass, you just about never do. Good shot.
In some regions of North America, agriculture dominates the landscape. As waterfowlers, we recognize the value of these farmlands because many of us have spent time in the cornfields, rice fields, or other productive farmland hunting for ducks and geese. Nearly 3/4 of America's remaining wetlands are on private lands, not to mention millions of acres of grassland nesting habitat. So all over North America, DU works with farmers, ranchers, and other private landowners to make the land more wildlife friendly and more productive at the same time. Some of our most important tools for conserving agricultural lands are in the Federal Farm Bill. Conservation provisions of the Farm Bill provide incentives for landowners to conserve land that is important to wildlife. That's why Ducks Unlimited works hard in Washington to bring about balanced agricultural policy that helps farmers and ranchers to be more competitive and successful while also providing critical wildlife habitat. That's also why Ducks Unlimited is working with the rice producers in areas like the lower Mississippi Alluvial Valley and California's Central Valley. Because most of the natural wetlands in these areas have been lost, many wildlife species rely on the aquatic habitat created by rice farmers. In turn, winter-flooded rice fields help farmers by controlling weeds and preventing erosion. Agriculture and conservation are natural partners. In fact, when we work together, we can help keep farmers on the land and ducks in the sky. Visit the DU website and join the original conservation movement.
Day 2, the temperature is going up and the duck activity is going down. It's supposed to hit almost 60 degrees today and there's no wind blowing. We can't get a break on the weather, but we're here and we've got Rance Daniels from Reeves, Missouri. Rance is a rice farmer. Rance happens to be a duck hunter himself, and he said before he started having kids, he hunted a lot. Now he doesn't hunt so much. Well, there's a little tidbit of encouragement. We had a hen mallard just fall right in on us. This has been one of the slowest mornings I've ever seen in this spot. Ranch, you've lived here all your life, been involved in rice farming, I guess, all your adult life. A part of it is rice has come on in this area. What have you seen happen in terms of the number of waterfowl here relative to the rice increase in this region?
The more rice that we've started growing in this area, the more waterfowl and the ducks and the geese and even the bald eagles have really, their numbers have really gone up since we've started growing rice.
What kind of wintering benefit do the waterfowl get out of the rice crop this year?
It not only benefits us as farmers to decompose the straw, but it really benefits the ducks as well to give them food and the energy they need to continue their migration south.
Talk to me about the relationship. I know that the USA Rice Federation and Ducks Unlimited have a partnership. What's that all about?
The USA Rice Federation and DU formed a stewardship partnership, work together to further the needs we need in Washington and just wherever we can work together to benefit each other, since rice and ducks go so well together.
Things are going to go wrong in the duck blind. Now, we had a slow day, so why not turn that into a training opportunity? Take your dog out there and work on things that he didn't do well on. So I saw a weakness there about making that clean pick on that big bird. He was not as wanting to hit that bird like I wanted to see it. So we turned it into a training opportunity. So do that on your duck hunt.
Hey, I'm Scott Laseth, cooking editor for Ducks Unlimited magazine, with a recipe that you can find in the magazine and at ducks.org. This is a herb and citrus roasted duck, and it's actually herb and citrus roasted duck breast. The herbs that I'm using today are fresh thyme and fresh rosemary. You can use whatever you have in the garden, whatever looks good at the store, or in a pinch, you can use a mixture of dried herbs, like even Italian seasoning. Into the bowl, start with the marinade. I have some fresh garlic, and for citrus, I have lemon and lime. And you don't have to worry about seeds. Here's the lime. And it's good when you can actually get lemons and limes that have some juice in them. That doesn't always happen all year long. A little bit of olive oil, some salt, some pepper. Let me chop up those herbs. There's the rosemary. And the thyme you can just strip right off the stem. And then I like to put, just to make it look pretty, a whole rosemary, a couple of thyme sprigs, a slice or two of lemon, and a little lime. And I happen to have a pair of skin-on duck breasts that have been marinating for about 6-7 hours in the marinade. You don't want to let this go too long. If you let this go for 24 hours, what happens is the citrus juice will actually start to cook the meat, much like if you made ceviche, which is lemon and lime cooking fish. It's the acids in it. So the olive oil will help protect it, but still 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, that's plenty. So out of the marinade into an oven-safe skillet, skin side up, and I want to chop some more herbs that I'm going to put right on top. And I'll take this lemon and lime and put it right on top. This goes into a 375-degree oven, and it's going to take maybe 7 or 8 minutes. All right, these guys are done. Got some green beans. And you want these to be rare to medium rare. I'm going to put another squeeze of fresh lemon. The lemon and lime is like a natural MSG. It stimulates the palate. You can actually use less salt if you liven up the flavors with lemon and lime. And there's a little rosemary. And there's some fresh thyme. This recipe you can find at the Ducks Unlimited website, that's ducks.org, and the Ducks Unlimited magazine, herb and citrus roasted duck.
Today we want to talk to you a little bit about the proper way and the most effective way to conceal layout blinds. You know, early in the season, the ducks and geese haven't been hunted as much, and when you're chasing birds in the fields, you can definitely get away with a lot more. These 2 blinds here we haven't used since the early season, and at that time they did the job. You know, the birds decoyed well into this type of a concealment scenario. Here we are in the late season, it's January, and the birds been hunted. They're smarter, they're call shy, and we've got to come up with a way to hide these blinds a little bit better. This afternoon we're hunting a cut bean field, and the geese have been feeding on either side of this waterway that's cutting the cut bean field in half. And you know, there's nowhere to hide on the perimeter, so we got to get in the waterway. Well, it's bailed, and the trucks have been driving through here, and there's very little area to hide. So one technique over the years that we've found that's worked really well is just going to your local farm store and getting a square bale of hay. And we're going to take that hay and fill in the gaps and the edges around these blinds and ensure that there's no shadows and no definition to them. We're going to kind of taper it out to where it just blends right into the surrounding grass right around us. Another thing about this is later in the year we'll put the layout blinds closer together. We'll smash them all together so the frames are almost touching, and then we'll take the hay and spread it around the boot bags, all around the back, and then the gaps in between the blinds, and it kind of creates one big mass and just kind of makes our blinds part of the waterway. This fall, when the birds become wary, they've been hunted, try this technique out. You know, later in the year the birds will feed in the middle of the field, and they'll feed everywhere but where you want them to. You know, they're going to get away from the fence rows and the edge lines and the tree rows, and so, you know, getting down out in the middle of a field and a waterway sometimes is the best way to kill them. And so this technique here hopefully will help you put more birds on the ground. And thanks for watching Ducks Unlimited Television.
Shot Wade or somebody. Wade.
Shoot them. All right. Are you kidding me?
How many shots did we put?
Good.
That's ridiculous. That was a great conservation. Team conservation effort. Oh. Team conservation. Everybody had a piece of that.
Wow. Saving ducks.
Wow.
Saving them for the future. I want to tell you how much fun it's been to be with you again, and you know, I've hunted with Drake, the original DU dog, and now Deke, a successor, and he's a fine dog, and I know you're proud of him, and it's been fun to be with you.
Well, it's been great to be back out here again. I love your place. You have a great spread, lots of good action. We're seeing tons of birds, and we made some pretty good retrieves too.
He did indeed. He learned something about picking up a goose too, didn't he?
Learned about geese.
Well, you gonna come back and hunt with me again?
Anytime I get the call.
Hey man, it's always a pleasure.
Right.
It's like old times.
The Boot Hill of Missouri looks much different than it did 200 years ago. Today, much of the historic wetland habitat there has been replaced by agriculture. Through partnerships with producers, many of these agricultural lands now serve as important habitat for wintering or migrating waterfowl. That's good news for ducks, and it's also good news for waterfowlers who enjoy the region's outstanding hunting. For more information about ducks and geese in Missouri or anywhere else in the Mississippi Flyway and beyond, visit ducks.org. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Ducks Unlimited Television.